At Emoa Local Government Council Secretariat, some youth blocked the entrance, chanting songs in solidarity with the FCT minister and insisting that the new chairman won't be allowed to take office.
Let us see you. We are very prepared. We are very prepared. We are taking over. We are right here.
In a few hours, the situation degenerates into the burning of the premises. The story is the same at Ishopu, Council Headquarters of Ikure Local Government, which is a brand new building. The administrative block is set ablaze as well. At Inchia, headquarters of Eleme Local Government, the Council Secretariat building is burned completely, with vehicles and glass shattered. The chairman blames his predecessor for the arson attack and says he has reported the incident to the police.
Well, before today, yesterday night, we gathered intelligence reports that hoodlums want to set the secretariat ablaze. We communicated this intelligence to the various security agencies, but they took it for granted. We here this morning to resume office. What we saw is not palatable. Hoodlums are set ablaze the secretariat of Eleme Local Council.
A native of Eleme condemns the incident, urging the losers to be gracious in defeat and move on with their lives.
Having sworn them in on Sunday, this morning we got a shocking report that about 2 local governments are on fire, and unfortunately one of them, the one at Ogale and Chia Element, happened to be my own local government. I want to say it's quite unfortunate. That was barbaric and that was primitive, and it shouldn't have been in this new digital age that will bring down the local government secretariat, and that shows that they should be described as enemies of the state.
The police had earlier withdrawn their personnel from the various councils as ordered by the IGP, and this left the way clear for the new chairman to take office. Following the burnings, they are yet to release any statement on the situation. The spontaneous outbreak of unrest isn't restricted just to Eleme, Ikwere, and Emoha. There have been multiple reports of pockets of violence in Oyibo and Onelga as well. Residents will be hoping that these spate of violence are brought under control sooner than later. Charles Oporum, Channels Television News.
Civil Defense.
All right, yes, indeed. Those are some of the issues that we'll raise here this morning. We've got Dr. Chidi Lloyd joining us virtually. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program today. Clearly, quite a lot has happened ever since the Saturday elections in Rivers State. Unfortunately, the developments yesterday, but probably, thankfully, the police, at least from the instructions they have from the president, are expected to get back. So what can you tell us about what has happened so far before we talk about what to do moving forward?
Well, Chamberlain, I ordinarily would have advised that you direct this question to the governor of Rivers State. You recall that a day or two before the purported election, he was at the state office of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, where he told the world that he is both the governor and chairman of the commission. So I find it difficult to comment on a process that I didn't participate on. But if you ask me on the view, I would say that whatever becomes the outcome of the purported election in the state, the governor of Rivers State should be held responsible, because he had boasted even on national TV that heavens won't fall. Whatever will happen should happen. That's when a governor of a state will say this is his last fight. And you wake up in the morning, you are seeing buildings burning here and there, all in a bid to cast aspersions on a particular person. All of them have just one enemy. They have aggregated, and everything that happens, even when the minister was in Abuja yesterday, holding his meetings, carrying out his function as minister of the FCT. People are here struggling to see how many commentators they will bring to cast aspersions on the minister of the FCT. Whatever happens here is clear. Whatever happened here, the governor's chief of staff, or one this in a year, was busy moving around with government house, police personnel, and soldiers, breaking into councils, setting places ablaze to make it look as if those who are proving the minister are the ones who are the Asian provocateur. But we have said, as civilized persons, that we are not part of the process. And that was where we ended our submission to the nation. We did also, on Saturday, aggregate at the particular spot in Port Harcourt, just not to be accused of anything that will happen. Recall that there were also internal wranglings in the APP, because those who have been given tickets and all of that are neophytes into the party. They are less than a week into the party and displace the original party owners who are also in court challenging such effrontery. So for me, it is clear the governor of Rivers State, like I've always said ab initio, is not prepared for governance. All he wants to do is to hide his inadequacies and see how he can orchestrate a repeat of what he did at the Rivers State House of Assembly. You know, we see a particular trend where this governor deploys the use of arsonists, murderers, renowned countries.
But we heard over the weekend. But the governor did say over the weekend that he said there were members of the other group, perhaps your group, were mobilizing to foment trouble in the local government areas. And he said, there we go, it's been justified, that he had it on good intel that was going to happen.
Chamberlain, look, if I can sit in the comfort of my parlor and say that Chamberlain has moved to CNN, I sit in the comfort of my parlor because Chamberlain presents a program on Channels TV that he has now moved to CNN. Does that make it the truth? Record that the governor is bitter, and I have said so, quoting copiously from the provisions of Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 16. The Solomon made it clear that woe betide the city whose king is a child. This governor is a dangerous driver. He has left his lane. He is now on the other lane. And everybody is in trouble. And Nigerians are watching. All of those who had one axe or the other to grind with the minister of the FCT, those who hate his gods, those who hate his supersonic rights politically, have aggregated. And eminent Nigerians are commending the governor's boldness, quote and unquote, when the courts have said, do not release register. The police have said they will not contest. So in that phase, Chamberlain, what are you asking me again? The police who ought to keep the peace. And people say, I saw someone who masquerades as a Rivers elder say that Rivers people have not done something novel in Nigerian politics, that elections can be conducted without security. When he, on a good day, even in the election that took him to the House of Representatives, he couldn't step out to vote for himself. So you see, this whole thing, all they do is to keep one in a situation where you are meant to talk about elders in a manner that shouldn't be. I saw the photograph of someone who will be on this program. That's how he was removed from the Ministry of Transport. He was sacked. Chief Abiyesi Sekimo was by Obasanjo from the Ministry of Transport. And these are the people who now masquerade as leaders of Rivers State. It's so unfortunate what is going on. But we give God all the glory. The truth can only, the victory of evil over good is only temporary.
Well, we're expecting him to join soon, so we're hoping that connection...
When he joins, let him start whether how did he leave the Ministry of Transportation?
I don't know how that is related.
What did Justice Kayode, a short panel in Rivers State, say about him?
Dr. Chidi Lloyd, I don't know how that is related to the conversation that we're currently having.
We are talking generally.
If I may, I do not know how that is connected with the conversation that we're currently having now on, the aftermath of the local government elections. But when you look at what the governor of Rivers State is trying to do, he is doing no different than what the other governors of other states are trying to do. Give you an instance. In the south of Nigeria, just a moment, Dr. Chidi Lloyd, are you going to take questions or not? Just over the same weekend, local government elections were conducted in about 3 or 4 other states. Akwa Ibom is very close to River State there, and the situation went very peacefully. Jigawa State also conducted its own local government elections. We didn't hear a whimper. Why is it? Why is it so, difficult for, things to just run smoothly in River State? Because people will say that the governor is trying to do what every other governor is doing in his state, but apparently doesn't look like he'll be given the leeway.
No, Baba, I shudder that you are the one saying this, that the governor should be given the leeway to happen upon rule of law. Is that what you are telling me? If people in Akwa Ibom follow due process, so be it. But you cannot talk about an election to conduct an election where the court has said, do not continue with this process. Because you didn't follow. The election is not an event. I keep telling people, it's a process that culminates in an election, finally. But the process begins with proper notices to the public and to the political parties. So if you say there was no problem in Akwa Ibom, I read something about the touching of the secretariat in Ibono, local government areas. So how much more in a situation where the court of competent jurisdiction has said, because you didn't do A, B, C, D, do not proceed. And somebody comes there who is today the political dowager of River State. He has liberated River State. From which war? The Israelis are looking for liberators. The Hamas group are looking for liberators. He has not gone there to liberate them. You are trampling upon the rights of people, and people are hailing him. Only very soon, the same people who are shouting Hosanna today will also shout, crucify him. It is not the first.
It is interesting. It is interesting that you'll come up with that analogy, because some people will say that if that is the situation, then you are the one shouting, crucify him, because this was the same governor just a few months ago, during the elections prior to 2023, your party brought him out and said he was the next best thing to sliced bread. And now it doesn't appear that, you are still singing that same song. It does appear that you're doing one now saying, crucify him. So what precisely has happened?
This is what makes us human. I wish I knew. I wish we knew. Recall that the Bible has said that the heart of man is desperately wicked. This wasn't what we saw before we narrowed down on him. And after all, Malbe, if you say this of me, I am not told that anybody gave Judas Iscariot to Jesus Christ, who is the Son of God. It's Joseph. Jesus chose Judas. But that is neither here nor there before one becomes blasphemous. The issue is that we are saying that the rule of law must be followed strictly. Any affront on the Constitution is a call for anarchy. Although I can tell you what happened.
So what rule of law wasn't followed, Mr. Lloyd?
Ayo, I would wish I can send you the electronic copy of Justice Peter Liefield's judgment, full judgment, so that you look at it. The notices were not given to the political parties. Recall that 90 days before the expiration of the tenure of the chairman, that the Independent National Electoral Commission shall be made to make a 90 days notice. Thereafter, there will be notices to the political parties. Thereafter, in fact, even what law guided the operation of the conduct of the election? The State Assembly, Section 22, Section 23, and 8 of the River State House of Assembly Independent Electoral Commission law states copiously what should be done. And Mogba, you know, I had the privilege of authoring that law, the River State Independent Electoral Commission law. So I can tell you what the provisions are there. So when we see all of this not followed, and people are saying the structure has changed, the structure has been taken, what structure has been taken? That you start a government house and wrote names of 23 people who couldn't access their offices because of the infighting in the so-called political party. Then you say you have won. No, that is not the time. When it is time, we will know. All of these who are running around the governor today they couldn't deliver their units. These are internally displaced politicians who masquerade as elders. Today they are in Abuja. The next day when it is favorable here, they get here. They will return and say they are down. People who swore on the lives of their children that they will never support Governor Siminalayi Fubara. And today is Men Friday, but we don't envy them.
So what do you think should have happened? Because do you think it is possible for... How should the election have been stopped in the first place? The court cannot stop the election, can the court? Besides, it wasn't just the state government that made any pronouncement. It's INEC that also said, look, this process cannot be stopped. So exactly how should this happen?
I don't know where you are putting from. INEC came out and said, we will not give register. We shall give you register. Pursuant to the judgment of Justice Peter Liffey. Let's even assume do not concede. You see, we are setting, or they are setting very dangerous precedents in River State. When judgments of court cannot be obeyed, the police has told you that the court says we shouldn't participate in the process. Therefore, we are staying away. I don't.
Seems that the line is suddenly frozen.
It does appear that we've lost him temporarily. But Mr. Chidi Lloyd, Dr. Chidi Lloyd, if you can still hear us, I just want to know. Okay, it does appear that we've lost him completely, but we will do our best to establish the connection in that regard. But as soon as we do, we'll also let you know. So this conversation, I think that, there needs to be responsibility taken for what happened in Port Harcourt yesterday. Because, we saw at least 4 local government, the secretariats of 4 local governments go up in flames. So clearly, Dr. Chidi Lloyd and, people within his party and his own faction are unhappy. And some people will say, oh, they have the greatest reason to have actually caused the mayhem and the chaos that happened in Rivers yesterday. And some other people will argue and say, well, it could have been other factors just to try and paint the other party black, as he seems to be suggesting. But then, there needs to be... Okay, I can see that, Dr. Lloyd, you're back now. Can you hear us?
Yes, that's my bad.
Yes. So I was just saying that yesterday, what we saw as the aftermath of the elections, because clearly your party and yourself, from all that you have said, you are grieved. You are unhappy about how the process has gone down for the local government elections, which you say due process wasn't followed. And some people will say you now have reason to have caused the mayhem that we saw in Port Harcourt yesterday and in a number of local government secretariats, which, were set ablaze. Would you say that members of your party and your support group took part in what we saw yesterday in Rivers?
I heard you clearly in the statement before preceding the one you made now. You know me. I'm not a violent man. So to choose to go upon that secretariat, does it remove? Does it resolve all of the issues in court? Burning down the secretariat now.
I think it's frozen again. Okay, well, we'll try and get that connection back. We're also trying to see to get Dr. Abiye Sekibo on as well, since he was scheduled to be on the program. So we're waiting to establish that connection and have him also respond to some of these issues that are being raised at the moment. Because we also do know that, there are images circulating, videos circulating in Obiakpo local government area. Much as the governor did say, look, there's got to be peace. Because, I mean, if there isn't peace in any state, I don't know how any governor can govern. So he said, look, there's got to be peace, and he wants peace. Oh, by the way, let's let you listen to the police. You know, the police are also in the fray here. The statement that came through from the president, the directive, also came up, and then before that, you know that the police also issued a statement saying, listen, we're acting on court orders. But here is the force public relations officer speaking about this directly.
Edo elections. IGP commends personnel, security agencies for successful conduct, professionalism. As he commiserates with families of Kano officers who died in accidents, the Inspector General of Police of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, IGP Olukayode Adeoluegbetukun, PhD 9 PM, has commended the Nigerian Police Force personnel and other security agencies for their exceptional professional conduct during the recently concluded Edo State governorship elections. The peaceful conduct of the governorship election serves as a testament to the dedication and hard work of the security forces. The IGP specifically expresses appreciation for the exemplary display of discipline and neutrality exhibited by security personnel throughout the election period. Their commitment to maintaining law and order, ensuring public safety, and protecting the democratic process is truly commendable. In the same vein, the IGP also salutes the courage, maturity, and resilience of the good people of Edo State for their orderliness and exhibition of democratic values during the polls, urging them to remain calm, law-abiding, and vigilant even as the electoral process has been peacefully concluded. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Adeoluegbetukun, assures members of the public of steadfastness in the commitment of the Nigerian Police Force to ensuring the safety and security of the people of Nigeria. The IGP has therefore directed tactical squads and intelligence contingents to remain in the state to continue to fortify security measures until further notice. This proactive measure aims to maintain stability and public safety throughout Edo State. All arrested persons for electoral offenses will be prosecuted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, while those arrested for other criminal offenses will be arraigned before the court on completion of investigations. The Nigerian Police Force reaffirms its unwavering commitment.
All right, we apologize for that. That is the wrong clip. The Force PRO did actually speak about all of those matters. He also did say they were acting on court orders. They had conflicting court orders. And of course, when you had that, if you obey the first one, you know how some of those things can be. But ever since then, the president had directed that they provide security, and the police themselves also going on with that in that light. Well, we've got Dr. Chidi Lloyd back. You were asking a question of him.
I was indeed, and I heard Dr. Chidi Lloyd say that I know him. He's not a violent man. I was just going to say, well, you're just somebody who got angry enough to use a mace on somebody's head some time ago when you were in the House of Assembly. I don't know, but you know, let's even put that incident behind us. We've since seen the president's statement. The president is not exonerating anyone, and he seems to know where the problem lies. If you're to look very critically, he said he's called on Governor Siminalayi Fubara, political leaders and their supporters in Rivers State to exercise restraint and uphold the rule of law. In other words, he says, the statement says he urged all political actors to de-escalate the situation and discourage their supporters from engaging in violence or destructive actions. In other words, the president knows where this is coming from. He knows that this is the job of political actors. So, I mean, the question is, what part are you willing to take in the blame for what has transpired in Rivers? Because clearly, this is not the first time we've seen arson. But what happened yesterday is the kind of thing that should not happen in any democracy in any state at all because of local government elections?
We have joined well-meaning Nigerians to condemn the brigandage that took place yesterday. You recall that I liked it when you said the president knows where this is coming from. You recall that once upon a time, we were before Mr. President in Abuja, wherein he sought political solution to all of the problems that we are brewing. Apparently, the president foresaw what would happen and intervened. And an 8-point agreement was reached, and signatures were appended to those agreements, including that of the governor of the state. When we came back, your guess is as good as mine as to the party that did not keep its own part of the bargain, as to the party that has not presented a valid budget to the state assembly, and to the party that is still not paying 27 members of the River State House of Assembly, and so on. And as to the party that came back here and now started sponsoring litigations, nudging people to go to court to thwart what the president had said, what we collectively agreed with the president, which was read to us by no less a person than Dr. Peter Odili, the former governor of River State. And agreements were reached, signatures are pending. So that is where we are. Of course, what the president should do is what he has done. Ask parties, whoever is doing this, to sheath their sword.
Yeah, Dr. Chidi Lloyd, I think the point I'm trying to make is clearly you are very aggrieved. I mean, anyone listening to you would know that, you have listed a litany of the things that the governor has since done wrong. But I'm looking at the president's statement here, and I'm going to read it in tandem with one of the dailies here. The statement of the president also says that self-help has no place in a democratic system, especially after 25 years of continuous democracy. According to the president, the judiciary can settle all political disputes, and the outcome of this election should be no exception. Do you believe that?
Absolutely. As a lawyer, I have read copiously the judgment of Ojukwu against the government of Lagos State, where the Supreme Court had said that resort to self-help over the ownership of Vilalasti was not the right way to go. And all men of goodwill have condemned resort to self-help. So I joined the president in saying that it is something that everybody knows, that we cannot resort to self-help. But I want to say it on this program, that what you saw yesterday, what you saw happen in River State yesterday, across the local government area, had nothing to do with members of the People's Democratic Party. I can tell you that for free.
So who do you think the president could be referring to? Because if it's not members of your party who are aggrieved and who are resorting to self-help, who do you think he could be referring to?
I wish I was the commissioner of police. But if you ask me, there are more aggrieved persons as a result of the fallout of the local government process amongst them. There were people who thought they had rights to return. There were people who thought they were the original owners of the APP, and there are those who they have reached alliance with in the party they call YPP, and so on and so forth. All of these pseudo political parties that masquerade where they were trying to find their footing. But I will leave that.
Ultimately, Dr. Chidi Lloyd, ultimately, what seems to be happening is, citing the statement that Malcolm just quoted, it all goes back to one thing and one thing only, and that is the fact that the political class in River State has questions to answer, both to the people of River State and to Nigerians. And it's common knowledge that politicians are largely loyal to whatever it is that the interest is at any given point in time. One is not sure whether the fellow who is a leader of a particular political party today is going to remain there tomorrow, or would have moved 2 or 3 parties in 24 hours. So what do you think should be the way forward now? Particularly because we know that this is all related to politics in Rivers State. What should be the way forward? When are we going to have a kind of conversation among political parties, particularly the political class? They'll sit down and say, you know what, the interests of our people first, and other interests will follow.
I know I can feel your pain. I know what you are about saying is that where do we live in Rivers State in all of this? This is one thing that has cost me sleepless nights, how we brought this upon ourselves. So to that extent, I will take responsibility for the role I played in the emergence of Governor Similara Fubara. We wrote on the mantra of continuity and consolidation. So, but what we do, I had said on your program, on one of your programs, that what God cannot do does not exist. And as a good Catholic, I have gone back to my rosary and with my knees on the floor 24 hours, praying ceaselessly for God to intervene. That is the only resort. For me, that is the only thing I can do. I cannot be seen as a former university teacher, former lawmaker, and so on, resorting to burning down critical facilities. What would my students say to me? And so on and so forth. So I have resorted to praying ceaselessly. That is why I have not been in public for some time, because I have gone onto the mountains to seek help, because I have asked from where does my help come from, and the Bible has assured me from where the help will come from.
Not from the judiciary. I mean, because yes, we know the Bible passage very well. The help comes from the Lord.
Absolutely.
But what about it? Have you given up completely on the judiciary?
God forbid. God forbid I give up on the judiciary. This is when my hope is more strengthened. But you see, I'm also praying for the judiciary to be able to take the right decisions, not to be cowed, not to be blackmailed. And I'm very happy with the statements emanating from the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the Honorable Justice on how judicial officers should discharge their duties without fear or favor.
The question I'll be asking is, what will you be asking from the courts, given that you did not even participate in the process?
Well, we are not. This is what you should understand. There are litigations. There were litigations before the process. So I will not go to be challenging the outcome of a process I did not partake. But we will now ensure that all of the ones that were started, even the ones that were started not by our political party. I recall that there are a litany of litigations surrounding this whole macabre dance that took place on the 5th of October. It must not necessarily be our party that went to court, but whatever judgment comes that emanates from there will inure, of course, on everybody for us to obey, like the judgment of Justice Peter Liffey of the Federal High Court.
So just as we wind down, but many have also said, some erroneously kept on saying that the courts stopped the election, and they said no, courts are not to stop elections.
Chamberlain, I availed you. Chamberlain, I recall I availed you the last paragraph of Justice Peter Liffey's judgment, and I know that Channels as an organization has a legal department. Can you hear from your legal people in your department and take your own?
No. Let's hear from you. I mean, you were a former lecturer in law. Are you saying that the court can stop it?
The judgment was clear. The judgment was clear. Because you did not do A, B, C, D, do not proceed. It wasn't written in Chinese language. Neither was it written in any other language. The English was clear. It was unambiguous.
Even if they did not proceed, Dr. Lloyd, even if they did not proceed on this particular day and they proceeded another time and they proceed 3 years later or they proceed for whenever it is they proceeded, some people will say, what outcomes were you really looking for? They're local government elections, and we know that in this country, just a moment, in this country, we know that the local government elections are always dominated. The results, the outcomes are always dominated by the party that the governor wants to win. So what outcomes were you actually hoping will be different in Rivers?
Is that so? My boy, you are just telling me this now. I recall that Governor Nasiru, former Governor Nasiru El-Rufai, former Governor Nasiru El-Rufai of Kaduna State had conducted an election in Kaduna State where other political parties won. But it doesn't matter what political party cleared the seats. What is important is the process. Nobody is quarreling. We do not have imaginary winners or imaginary those who must be local government chairmen. Even quoting the governor's speech on the day he was inaugurating the so-called winners of the election, he told them that if things were done normally, who dies monkey banana? This is quoting the governor copiously. He said so. That if things were to be done properly, it shouldn't have been there. That who dashed monkey banana.
All right.
Yesterday I heard somebody refer to the governor of Rivers State as Governor Fubara of Rivers State, alias Jungle don't mature. Imagine Rivers State. But I cannot absolve myself of the blame.
Okay, so you said you're looking from where your help will come from. So
severally, not this upon the state.
All right, we'll have to thank you for coming in. Dr. Chidi Lloyd, the former member of Rivers State House of Assembly, former chairman of the local government, and also former lecturer at Department of Private and Public Law, UNEC. Thank you for talking to us this morning.
Thank you, John Balin. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
All right, we also did try to get Dr. Abiy Sekiwa, but he was not able to make the program. And then we'll be expecting to hear from the Commissioner of Police in Rivers State. He is scheduled to also speak at 10 in just 2 minutes or thereabout, if not any time from now. Okay, so coming up Business Morning on Sunrise, it will be on the hour. Don't go away.